Hi, hello everyone. Let know if you can hear me well.
Yes.
Hello.
All right,
Good evening.
Fantastic. Good to have you all. Hey, thanks for being here. And this is going to be our exam preparation discussion.
Hi, Sri.
Hey guys, if everything is good, let's see if anyone willing to show your face to say hi. Meantime, I'll bring some content. I have Akhil.
Hi, Sri.
Okay, here we are. Kaushik. Nice to see. It's always good to see some faces rather seeing the black screen. Okay, great. Nice to see. Sometimes we have to put a profile picture in Zoom account also, I believe, so that we see the face of somebody as a picture, like what I have for Sai Srinivas. Nice to see. All right. Thanks a lot for joining here. I will expect more people to joining. A quick reminder or a recall of this program. This happens every Sunday, 4 p.m. IST, where we do it in a YouTube live. So you can listen to the recording from YouTube as well. Also, if you're a ShriLearning participant, in your communication board, you have access to all the recordings which we did in the last few years. Seriously? Yes, a lot of information. Too much of information is also boring, right? We don't want to see that. Huh? But it'll be useful, some of them. Cherry pick some and keep listening. So what we do here, today we're going to talk something about scope management, a little on scope management. Then I'll go with a couple of questions from exam point of view, and then listen to your question. You will have some question which you have attended a few days back, weeks back, or today, and we'll converse those questions. But maybe there are some questions from your spouse that I can't answer, that you have to manage. Okay. Okay. All right. Getting back here. Anyone here close to the exam? You have few days, few weeks close to the exam. Sriram Sambat is close to the exam. Sambat or Sriram, when is your exam?
Yeah, I have it scheduled for the 21st of September, Shri.
Is it wedding day?
No. I mean, I did check it's an auspicious day, but not my wedding day though.
Okay. 21st September. So are we in WhatsApp connected?
Yes, we are. I reached out to you just before I scheduled the exam.
All right. And what about your full exams? Have you started something?
I've taken a couple of those. The first one I scored 69. The second one I took today, in which I scored 72. But the 69 was a lot more, gave me more confidence than the 72 I got today.
Why so?
Yeah,
Why?
Today's exam was more on luck, I would say. There were a few questions that I didn't know head or tail of, so I had to trust my gut. So yeah, but the 69 was better. I understood most of my questions and was able to answer better.
Very good. Yeah. You did your first full exam when?
This was long back. This was 3-4 weeks back. I took my first full mark.
Okay. Ask to you, have you analyzed all the questions after the exam?
Yes. Yes and no. I wouldn't say I went through the entire list, but I did make an effort. My only problem is, when I take mock exams from the ShriLearning portal, all these chapter wise and there are 40 questions. So every answer refers me back to PMBOK 6 guide to a certain page number, right? When I go to that page number, I quite literally see the exact same sentences being used there. So I get a little panicked. Then I start studying PMBOK 6 guide and I kind of get lost halfway through. It all looks very tedious on the PMBOK 6 guide, right? There's just so much information there and it keeps repeating itself.
I understand. But one thing you observed, even though you feel a lot of content there in PMBOK, do you get the feel this concept you have already learned somewhere?
Yes. Yeah. Conceptually, yes. But when I see the exact same sentences used on the PMBOK 6 guide and the question, yeah, so that kind of reminds me that I also have to read PMBOK 6. Then I get distracted, then I kind of get into a mess. Yeah.
So answer your question and many who are here. The question papers are prepared long back and many questions keep PMBOK as a center. The reason is Other private parties, where we have one of the private parties is Rita. They keep upgrading the book. Rita 8th, Rita 9th, Rita 10th, now Rita 11. So question papers don't map with anything on this Rita. Rather, they go with a centralized guide in the world called PMBOK.
Yeah.
PMBOK can be used for reference purpose. I would have said in some classes, please use it for reference. Whenever you see some sentence like that, go read, come back. No need to get panic, no need to worry, because the concepts you would have learned already, the English terminology, the wordings would be from there.
Yeah.
Or this one more good thing you can do. There is something called a glossary in PMBOK.
Right.
Or if you go to pmi.org, there is something called lexicons. pmi.org, lexicons. Nothing but it's all the glossary keywords. If you go read those keywords alone, let's imagine they have 200 keywords. If you read 200 keywords, each word will be explained by 2 lines and 3 lines. You got the language. You learn the keywords, you got the language. Now you can refer some topics whenever you want. That is sufficient enough for us.
Right.
Good. All right. So we have 25 days for you for the main exam. Good wishes. Keep up the momentum and keep me posted on your scores.
I will. Thank you. Yeah.
Good wishes. I have 2 more person. Before we go to the subject, let me get to Varun. Mr. Varun.
Hi, Shri. I have exam tomorrow.
Party day. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Nice to know. Which city you are from, Varun?
Bangalore.
Bangalore. Is it raining,
Not
shining?
really. It's quite hot here right now.
Quite hot.
Yeah.
That's bad, right? Okay. Why I ask this question is how the roads will be for tomorrow.
I hope it doesn't rain. Yeah.
Okay. When it rains, it takes 2 hours to reach a place.
Definitely, yeah.
When it doesn't rain, it takes 2.5 hours. Isn't it?
Yeah.
It happens, right?
Yeah.
When it rains, at least few people stay at home. It doesn't rain, everyone is on the road. So traffic will be more.
Yeah.
Okay. Ask here, is it a Shivaji Nagar you go for exam?
Shivaji Nagar.
Have you visited the center already?
Not yet, but I know the location somewhat, so I'll try to go a bit early and make
Are
sure
you taking your own car?
No.
Okay. Better to go a little early, be 45 minutes earlier there. And don't take your personal vehicle. Parking is a big trouble there. We should connect in the call today, but unfortunately, I'm in session from morning, so getting a little tough. Quick ask with you is, have you verified your ID cards?
As in, like?
As in, your application, you are given a name. What is your full name?
Varun Pathak. Like the name is same as my ID card, yeah.
First name, last name, is it given as a combined as one name in passport or you have a space?
Space.
How you fill in exam application? With
Same.
space?
With space, yeah.
It looks so stupid asking this question, but in exam, the space is considered as a different name. They don't accept the ID card. So please check your application with the passport.
Okay.
You can check with your voter ID. You can check with your Aadhaar, any government proof which has a photo with a signature. Please check that. Or if any correction needed, do the correction today with the PMI chat. You can talk to them, tell them there is a correction, they'll do the correction.
Got it. I'll do that. Yeah.
Right. Please check all these things. 1, carry something to eat in the break.
Sure.
You may say that I'm good at the strength, all the facilities. I do a lot of exercise, muscle guy, all fine. In exam hall, your brain will burn a lot of energy. For that, you need some glucose. Carry something to eat. Could be a chocolate, could be an orange, something to give some energy. Please do that. Okay. All right, Varun, all good now. So tomorrow, Varun PMP. Is this right?
Yeah, definitely.
Fantastic. What we'll do is, what time you wind up your day?
Quite late, about midnight.
Your midnight should be 12 or 1, 2?
12:31.
Okay. I should close the class by today after Q&A, maybe your time, 11:30. Give me a message and let's connect for a few minutes before you go to the exam.
Definitely, yeah. Let's do it.
Right? Good. Good wishes, Varun.
Thank you.
And then we'll get to Krishna. Mr. Krishnan Yan.
Hi, Shri.
Hey.
So mine is on 6th September. Again, Bangalore.
Okay.
Yeah, but Lal Bagh Center.
Okay, close. 10 more days. Have you planned some leaves before the exam?
Yes, I have planned just the week before, about 3 to 4 days.
Very good. Very good.
Yeah.
And how is your preparation on the practice test?
So practices, I did 2 mocks. The first mocks was, long back. That was during the class. And the second mock I just gave today, and I just WhatsApped you.
I remember now. Navinitha Krishnan, right?
Yeah.
Navinitha Krishnan. Okay, I saw your scores and you said 20 minutes earlier you completed.
Yep.
Did you took break?
I took about 5 minutes break because it's in home, so I took 5
Which
minutes.
means 10 minutes you didn't use. So if you have 20 minutes spare, let's remove the 10 minutes, which means you have 10 minutes spare. Your speed is good. It's actually good. This is your
Second mock.
second mock.
Yeah.
What was your first mock score?
It was about 70.
70. Yes.
Yeah.
70. And this is also a good score. You're good. And are you working in agile environment?
No. Regular predictive life cycle.
Still, it's a very decent score. Can you take some time to analyze all these questions?
Sure. So that's the plan. Probably after this session tonight, I will spend some time on analyzing these questions where it went wrong. But as we will probably talk. I got drained in between because the long hour sitting is quite after a long time.
I saw your message. Yeah. I know it's not easy. It's not easy, tougher there. I agree. But for this, what we can do is you can do some 60 questions practice.
Got it.
Right. Next 10 days, maybe take another 1 full exam or 2 full exam.
Okay.
And but practice 60 questions. 60 is fine, right? 1.5 hours. You
Yeah,
can sit
yeah,
and
sure.
do that and take a break. That will be good for you.
Okay.
Keep me posted on this and stay in touch with me in WhatsApp. I have to give you some bullet points before the exam.
Copy. Yeah.
Perfect. That's good. So people who you are from August batch, do I have someone here from August batch?
Yes, Shri.
Yes, Anu here.
Okay, some people are from August batch. Are you feeling excited when you hear some people are going close to the exam? Tomorrow's exam, next week exam.
Yes. It's nervous actually. Really nervous to go for exam.
For their exam, you are nervous, man.
Understanding better how to prepare. How to prepare for the exam.
In college, I remember there was a guy who wanted to propose a girl, and the other guy was shivering. Man, he's going to propose. Why he was to? So it's all about how do you look at the exam. And do you feel that one day you will have this kind of a conversation with me here, saying that, hey, I'm writing exam tomorrow?
Yes.
We'll be happy. Good to know. Good to know. And you know that we have a success story videos. Is anyone interested that you will one day talk about your success? Very. I will think about it. Okay. Now what we do is let's get inside. By the way, I just got a notification. Microsoft has a web app WhatsApp to be installed. Okay, I'll do later. What I will do, I'll bring up something on scope management. Today, I said that I'll talk a few minutes on scope management, then we'll talk some questions. So please observe some topic in scope management. You can confirm me if you can see the screen, what I'm sharing. Are you getting what I'm sharing?
Yes.
Very good. Fantastic. Now, question to people here, when we say scope management, that is work to be done. Is this possible for both predictive and adaptive nature, or it is only for predictive?
Both.
Work to
be done will be both.
Work should be for both, right? You cannot say no for it. Let us see in predictive nature what we do. When you use the word predictive, it's a plan-driven or waterfall model or spiral model. The way where we plan details well in advance. Now, what would have happened is we will have something called a customer who is saying that I want this to be done. It could be of a new machinery. It could be of a service like a software. It could be a training program like what we go through like PMP or scaled agile. Now, what happened is there is an ask, there is a supply. Now, when these two people meet to each other, they first sign a contract, which we call as statement of work, SOW, or we call as a contract. Okay. Now, there's a contract will help them to be legally binded, have a marriage certificate, legal binding. You can't escape. Come on, guys, you married. So now this talks about the bonding of two organizations or two individuals to do a work. Now, this is not sufficient to do a work. Now, what to do? From here, I have to go a little more detail. How to go in detail? I do something called requirement gathering. In requirement gathering, I believe some of you would have heard, some of you would have participated. Either of one can happen for you. In requirement gathering, we get the details. The output will be a document, isn't it? Or it could be a video, audio, some sort of information will be there. And this information further refined, analyzed. They do alternative analysis. They do deep discussion about what is the best way of doing things. So multiple discussion will happen. After all this discussion, it becomes a matured document. The mature document is called as project scope statement. In predictive nature of project, it's called as project scope statement. So first SOW, then it becomes a project charter, after which you have a lot of conversation about the requirement. Then the requirement gets into project scope statement. Still, this is not sufficient for the team to do the job. Then how to make it? The very next stage is we call as a scope baseline. Now, before going to scope baseline, there is something to be done, and that's called as WBS. Now, what does WBS stands for? What does WBS stands for?
Work breakdown.
Work breakdown structure. Now, you can question me, Shriram, whenever a contract is signed, a contract says couple of lines of details what this project all about. Why don't we make a WBS from this contract? Do anyone have an answer for that? Why can't we make a WBS from the contract? Can't we do that? Can't we do that? Anyone want to say why we can't do a contract from that to a WBS? Why not?
There is no detailed requirements gathered in the contract.
There you go, Sharad. Thanks a lot. We don't have a details. If you don't have enough details, how do you create this WBS? So WBS is happening after you collect more information about the project. When I say more, what does it mean by more? When I say more, it's 100% rule, which means include every aspect, nothing extra, nothing missing. Makes sense, right? Nothing extra, no extra fitting, nothing missing, everything to be collected. But Shriram, how do I know everything, man? That is what it called as a predictive nature of project. However, it is, they say 90%. In some companies, they collect 90% and 10% they keep it open, right? They call that as a planning package. I'll come to that. Now, what happens is when a WBS is there, at the top level, we call as root node, or we call it as a project name or primary deliverable. If I'm coming with a hospital, I have to come with a hospital, okay? New hospital at the city somewhere. Now, this hospital can have a different segments to be done. Then only I can call it as a hospital. Now, how do you do that? You start dividing them. How do you divide them? Here it goes. Use a hierarchical structure. You use a highest, next, lowest. It can go down, down, down as you prefer. But the highest and deliverable could be some compartments. I can tell that in project name hospital, X, hospital Y. I can tell in 1.1, I will tell that it could be a place for surgery, right? And I can have one place for, they call us OP, right? Outpatients. I can have one place for emergency operations. Now I'll keep blocks like this, or child care, or eye specialist. I'll put something like this. But why we are putting like that? When I divide like that, what happens is I can easily visually, WBS is visually represent what the project requirement is. So what you mean here is you're saying that whenever a requirement comes, we will write a WBS, and that WBS box, flip sheet, will have full detail of the requirement. The answer is no. it will have a small hint name. For hint name, I will say that you will put something, a box like this, and you will say that it is an emergency ward. It's an emergency ward in this hospital. But this one word, how does it help my team to do the job? For this reason, we have something called WBS dictionary. Have anyone heard the word dictionary? WBS dictionary? Have anyone heard the word dictionary?
Yes.
Yes, sure.
Okay. As per your learning, what can be in dictionary? Any one hint?
It will have the detail about the words in a WBS. For example, emergency ward. So it will have the detail about what is in the emergency ward exactly they need.
Can it talk little on scope? It can give little information on the budget. It can give some information on the schedule. Will it help more information about that particular work? That's what the dictionary all about? The answer is yes, that's what it is. But still it is each company, they can customize it, tailor as they want, but this is the recommendation for it is. Then why we put a small boxes and a structural view? They ask the question is, we want to give a pictorial representation, but here in WBS, you don't talk who will do the job, when the work will be completed. That we will not put it here. That is not the place. This is not the place for that. That's a different place. So this place is a pictorial representation of what work is expected, what work will be done. You don't fill WBS directly. First, you got the contract, then you have a charter, then you have a requirement gathering, then do have a product analysis, alternative analysis, then you prepare something called project scope statement, then comes WBS. Shucks, man, these many layers, of course, needed, because there's a WBS is going to be used as a document for what? For what? There is something called scope baseline. In scope baseline, 3 documents primarily included. What are they? Can anyone say that?
Scope project statement, WBS and WBS dictionary.
Fantastic. Round of applause to you. So you have a project scope statement, then you have a WBS, then you have a WBS dictionary. All 3 included, called scope baseline. Come on, man. These are the individual document. Why you want to call this as a baseline? I don't get the sense why you call baseline. If you ask this question, baseline is a terminology used in management. Mute some of you. So baseline is a terminology used in management and project management internationally, which means a mutual, understand the word, a mutual agreement between 2 parties. Who are these 2 parties in our case? Who are these 2 parties? The customer who asked for the project and the service company who is going to deliver the project. The contracting party is called as the 2 parties here who mutually agree that at this point of time, underline at this point of time. But see, why are you pressing the word at this point of time? At this point of time, all looks good here. But the same requirement which I gave today may come through a change request later. Come on, man. It's a predictive model. You have to plan well. How could you expect some changes in project? There should not be any changes. Is my statement correct or wrong? There should not should be wrong, right? Which means there are some changes. So Akila, so why it is wrong? What is your thought on that?
Because we can change in between, and we can implement that in the predictive model.
Fantastic, fantastic. Can I change the whole vision of the project, or can I change some of the requirements in the project?
No, we never change the vision, but we can change.
What if that vision is invalid?
So that is not a predictive model
Change
at
request.
Still, the changes can happen. Vision level changes also possible, Akila. That will hit your contract.
Yeah.
That's a very bad change, isn't it?
Yes.
It's a very expensive change. Then they call as a sunk cost. Have you heard about sunk cost? SUNK, which means the money, whatever you spent is gone. Huh? And people who have a boyfriend, girlfriend, they know the problem. Sunk cost, gone is gone. Nothing will come back. So now you talk about the scope baseline, which you put something like this. You have what you are agreeing between both the parties, which you're going to deliver. Fantastic. But changes will come. We'll talk that change management later. Since we talk scope management today, we'll understand some scoping parameters. Now, what you see in the screen here, let's understand some parameters. In the screen, what you're seeing is a project name at the high. Then I gave something called control account. See why they call it as control account? A control account is a number which is given here, which will be useful to track. I gave an example of emergency ward. Emergency ward. I'll give a number for this 70034. Now, this is a number. This number, below this, there could be multiple compartments I have to do in emergency ward. And for this, I may have at least 70 people working to complete the emergency ward, including construction, wiring, electrical or plumbing work or digital work, everything on this to be done under this number. Why this number? This number helps me to track how much of work completed. It helps me to track how much of money I spent, how much of money I need. It helps me to track where I am right now. And that's called earned value management. Some of you from August batch may not know this, but people from previous batches, do you remember the term we learned something called earned value management? EVM.
Yes.
Remember that? What we do in EVM calculation, what is the primary goal of EVM?
It is the metric to assess completion of the project at that point of time based on the schedule and the budget.
Nice to know. Good point. Nice.
Against all the baselines, right?
There you go. There you go. That's a key word there. Against a baseline. But again, what is a baseline, man? One of the baseline I mentioned here is a scope baseline. What about other baselines? What about other baselines? What other baselines? You have a schedule baseline. Can I have cost baseline? Yes, cost baseline. Can I have a risk baseline?
No.
Can I have quality baseline?
No.
So only 3 baselines are allowed. That's called scope, schedule, and cost. Combining these 3, it has a name called as performance baseline. Have anyone heard this word? Performance baseline. Have you heard it? So yes, we measure performance baseline, and that's called as an iron triangle. You will see iron triangle, RV in track. In predictive nature of project, even today, from 100 years from now, still they do the same, because some of the predictive work, you have to plan clearly what to be done for this work, how much of time it will take, for this, how much of cost. I'll come to these topics later in some other classes. But for now, let's understand the control account as a number. This is a number which you get as a charge code in your office. I would have said in classes, if I say the number 70034, this is what the charge code you use every Friday evening or Monday morning to charge the number of hours you work in your company, right? That's a point. Now, then what is a planning package? I gave a clue for you. I gave a clue. The clue is something like this. The work needs further planning. Come on, man. Just now you said 100% of work is here. Of course, I would have put all the bullet points. I would have said something in the one of the box. I would have said for outpatients, I need a block to be done in the hospital. But the senior doctor dean says that, hold on, that work, I will give more clarity, because one of my son who is in different country learning some concepts about how to keep an hospital. I'll come back with some more details on this. Now, what happens is you will hold some of your work, which you call as progressive elaboration, rolling wave planning. Have you heard this word progressive, rolling wave? Somewhere you heard, right? Not in predictive. Somewhere you heard. Where we heard? Where we heard? In
Agile planning.
In Agile. Sorry, Suchitra, what are you saying?
In Agile practice.
Exactly. In Agile or in adaptive nature, we've seen this word called progressive elaboration. In Agile, more than 90% of the work is progressive. Whereas in predictive, maybe 5-10% can be progressive, which means you start exploring more details as you move forward. Work needs more information. Now what happened? Further down you go as a work package. I think this is what I explained now. A work package is a set of work which your team will do, for which you will have a dictionary with the information. Now with this, what we are learning here, even today in predictive nature of projects, we are following this systematic approach of requirement gathering and putting into packages. For your surprise, there are many IT companies still follow the same format until forming a work package. After getting the names of the work packages, they give one package to a particular Scrum team and ask them, can you explore what all user stories can come under this work packages and make it as in a progressive delivery model. This model also exists in the world. Have anyone working here in IT or Agile, your company still follows a package model, but when it comes to work implementation, they do progressively. Have anyone gone through this kind of model in the last 5-10 years? Have you? Have you been there? All right, look like very less people have done it. So point is, it is not what model you follow. It is important about how your company can adopt. But Shri, why you are telling this point right now? The message is, you cannot blindly tell this is what the way I will work. Or I will not tell always the predictive model. We call something called hybrid model. I'm sure you already heard about a hybrid, right? Hybrid papaya. No seeds will be there. So we call a hybrid model is a mix of both, which can be beneficial to the company, beneficial to the client. All right. Now, then what is this? What is this WBS code? What is this code of accounts numbering system? Like what you have for a control account, which is helping you to track what is happening with the scope, budget, and schedule for the whole initiative. We can have something called WBS code numbering, which is also called as code of account. This numbering system will help you to track packages. Sometimes we track at the account level. If a package is huge in size, we will track this at the package level, because some teams will get only package as their work. Some teams will get the whole control account. It could be one whole vertical. By the way, these all numbering system used for tracking purpose. It could be from your finance team, senior management. This is for their purpose, or maybe PMO, project management office. They will track it. You and me, when we work at the team level, we are not too much bothered on the numbering system, but we're very interested on what is a package, what is the details of the package, what is the dependency of the package. That is where we'll be focused. Got it? Fantastic. Deepak, you have something to add.
Is this numbering system, sometimes we fill our timesheet on an account on a project?
You got it. Perfectly, you got it. You fill 40 hours per week, isn't it? You do that?
Yeah.
That 40 hours should come from some budget, right? From which budget it will come?
This project.
That is where we are talking here.
Okay.
All right. Amazingly great. Good. Thanks for that key point. Now, let's see some parameters of what's the time now? Time running faster today. Time running faster. What we'll do, here it is. Are you seeing the screen, what I'm sharing now?
Yes.
I'm communicating something about rolling wave planning, and even Suchitra was mentioning about the progressive elaboration comes from agile mindset, right? Now I'm into agile segment. But this progressive elaboration, rolling wave planning is not new in the industry. It's there for a long time. Okay. Rolling wave planning, a form of progressive elaboration. The picture says as a wave, you keep planning as you get details. To elaborate that, we have a detail here. There are multiple sprints in Agile, but some sprints you see empty box here. What does this empty box means? Can anyone explain why it is empty? Why it's empty?
This will be
scope is yet to be defined.
We'll get more information
Not yet
about the work.
Defined. Work is not defined.
Work is not defined. Not defined by whom? By the client or by the team?
By the team project.
Why they didn't define? Which means people don't have time to define, or they don't have a knowledge to define. Why?
Because they are planning for the sprint. Okay. They are creating the sprint details and they are making sprint planning.
Very good.
After that, they are making the plan for the further sprints. But they have the work in the product backlog, but they are not carried to the sprint backlog.
Okay. Okay.
So the work is not defined at this point in time. And I think we'll know more as we complete the reviews and.
Exactly. As we progress, we get more detail. You see, in conversation, some people, before you ask something, they will put out all the information. There are some people allow you to speak, watch, observe, put a next question, get the next detail. They're a different way of communication. Now, what we're seeing here is not a communication where you put everything up front. Why? Because over a period of time, questions can change. Over a period of time, my mind can change. Over a period of time, situation can change. Even though I know what to say, but still I'll hold it until to see what will happen next. And that mindset happens here. It's called rolling wave planning. You wait. Now let's see something more on this to get a little more clarity. And I'll use one more slide, then I'll go for the questions. Here, in this picture on the top, you are seeing something. I have took the example for an agile project. Now let me know, in the screen you are seeing certain things. Project, release, below release there are some boxes. Can someone tell me what these 3 lines represent? What these 3 lines represent? Can someone tell me?
Breakdown of a project.
Breakdown of a project. But in Agile, do we really need a breakdown of a project? Can't we straight away start the work?
No, because the requirements and uncertainty is not clear from the beginning in comparison to the predictive plan. So it happens with progression.
Fantastic. Rightly said. Nice. Anyone else want to add more?
This first release plan can be the first minimum viable product we can use. So on.
Okay. Got it. Thanks, Deepak. Now, point here is rightly mentioned here. In Agile, in the name of Agile, I will not blindly start working on the first day. If I do that, I'll be the most stupidest guy in the world. I don't want to do like that. In Agile also, what will happen is the same way there is a client and there is a person who does the work. Both of them will sign the contract, which we call as SOW. Hey, Shri, you mentioned same for predictive model. Adaptive also has SOW. After which they do something called project charter. A project charter is a one-page document which explains what the project is all about. After which there is something called requirement gathering. Hey, come on, man, you're saying the same way what we mentioned of predictive. Of course I did. But after this, there are some steps followed in predictive model to get something called WBS. In WBS, you pick a pictorial representation, you go on this. That's not the way we do in Agile. Then what we do in Agile? In requirement gathering, what you do is you start understanding something called backlog. Have you heard the word backlog? A backlog, a collection of work items for the project. Park it here. Let's come back here now. A project could be anything which has a vision. A project means a vision, isn't it? Somebody thinks this can be done. That vision will be very clearly defined. We know what to do very well. Now, this vision cannot be achieved at one shot. Now, I have to divide that vision into pieces. Imagine there is an X company want to go for a retail market. In retail, they want to come with some electronics selling online, and they also want to do some toys for children. Okay. Now, what happened is the vision is coming up with a retail store, online retail store, where you have electronics plus toys. The company which came with this vision says that at a first shot, we'll go with electronics, then we'll go with the toys. Your company can recommend let's do both parallelly. But the company says, it's okay, guys. Let's go step by step. Do electronics. Now, since you are sitting with them in their office and they explain the vision clearly, now you took a 100-page paper document and say that, come on, guys, I'm ready. Explain me what all you want. I'm going to write down. And they ask you, what are you doing? You say yourself, I'm a product owner. I am a business analyst. I am going to write a project document. I'm going to explain everything line by line. Now, what that company will say? Will they tell you all the requirements, or they will give you only high-level information? What they will tell you?
High-level information.
High level. Good, Akila. So why high level? Why not elaborate? Because electronics we are selling for last 10, 15 years in online. Toys we are selling for last 10, 15 years online. Then why it's only high level? Why not detail?
That is not required this time.
Not required at this point of time because market could change. Market can have new ideas coming up in the market. So what the customer says is, guys, let's start with what you know right now. They will give you some detail of the work which can be done in the upcoming 3 sprints or 4 sprints. They call it as N plus 2. N means current plus 2. Even though I can fill all these boxes, but I don't do that. If I do that way, that's called progressive elaboration, and that is called iterative way of working. You may think that's too stupid, right? You know all the information. Why can't you plan in advance? If I do that, I may lose some of the latest technology. I may lose latest ideas. So I wait for the nearest time where I can get this information. On that information, I will plan. I'll always keep N plus 2 planned, which means when I'm here, I do N plus 2. 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 This is a nature the team works. Some company work N plus 3. Some company work N plus 4. It's up to you, up to your domain knowledge. Even though I know the vision clearly, even though I know what to be done clearly, even though I did a MVP clearly, but I'll move in this way because we call as progressive elaboration in Agile. Are you getting what I'm saying? Is it clear for you?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Okay.
Sri, I have a question. So this N is for the number of sprint or number of weeks?
I'm sorry, I missed it. What is it? Repeat again.
See, you share the example, right? N plus 2. So in here, the number of weeks or number of sprint?
Sprint. It's for each sprint. N is for a sprint. I'm in a current sprint. From there, I plan for next 2 sprints. You plan sprint wise. You don't plan for number
today's mock, in this 4-week mock, we have option of these both 2 weeks and sprint 2. So I choose that sprint plus 2. But in the explanation, I found it was given the right answer is 2 weeks.
We will talk questions separately because we don't know the context of the question, right? What you understood is a concept. Now you have to see how you understood how the question has interpreted that information. Then we'll understand those things. Right? But for your information, Agile, we have 1 week, 2 week, 3 weeks, or 4 weeks. These are the weeks we use it for Agile in sprints. And it is up to the companies to decide N plus how many weeks they want to do. That's a message.
Thanks.
Right. So bring up the question, we'll discuss in some time. All right. Can I assume that in scope management, some knowledge you refreshed or some of you learned already? You did so?
Yes.
Fantastic. Thanks a lot for confirming that. Shall we go for the questions now to see some questions to see how your brain has mapped properly or not? We'll do that. Where is it? Here's my question. Okay, let's start with the first question. On the screen, you have a question. Read this question and share your answers in the box. Okay. I'm getting answer as A. Let me see if any of the answers are there. Yeah, primarily A. I got few of them. Can I expect everyone to answer here? Try your answers. Don't think whether it's right or wrong. Give it a try. I want to see majority where it goes. Majority. Wow, majority goes with A. No one skipped out. Okay, let me request any one of you to explain why you thought A as an answer. And before going there, what is a key sentence in the question? Can somebody tell me what is a key sentence in the question made you to choose A?
Further divide the work packages
into more manageable work pack components.
I got two things, right? One is more manageable work components. Sharath, what you mentioned?
it's further divide the work packages.
Further divide the work packages into more manageable work components. Which of the following techniques should the team use to satisfy the manager's request? Okay, nice. So looks a good sentence. Answer looks good as well. Before you conclude A or B, which one is right? When you read a question like this, straight away, which answer can be eliminated in this context? Straight eliminate. Why C and D eliminated?
We're estimating.
So there are estimating techniques.
Not needed here, right? Not needed. Then what is B? It's competition between A and B. What is B?
B is related to the dependencies.
Yes, activities
So
once.
we're not
activities
talking
are
about the dependencies here. It's a
Okay.
decomposition.
So here, this question made a little more simple by giving 3 blank wrong answer. Is it right? It is a blank wrong answer only when you read the book. What if somebody has not read the book? It'll be tough. Now let's go to the word decomposition. What decomposition means, as you learn right now? What does the decomposition means? What it mean? Now, the manager requests the team to divide the work package into more manageable components for estimating the resources. Only when you put it down, you can go further down, estimate. The define activities process is used to divide the work package into more manageable activities for estimating. So decomposition is a technique used to divide the work. It's a cutting into pieces. If you're coming from medical term, decompose is a different terminology. But here decompose is cutting into pieces. A cake, if you cut into pieces, you get smaller pieces. When you get a smaller piece, I know, can I consume it one shot in mouth or I have to take 2 times? This you will understand only when you cut into pieces. But logical decomposition. You should not cut in a way which you can't estimate it. You have to go by that order. Good enough. What I do is, I'll bring one other question so that then I'll open the window for others to ask some question. We can converse. What question I have? I'm just checking what all I have. I should have something. Let me see if this question can help us. Okay, there is a question now. Answers coming up. This time I'm saying A and D. Okay. Tricky question, right? The language is slightly tricky. Okay, let's start reading the question. I got 2 answers, A and D. Which of the following is a critical problem associated with the change control policies? used in traditional approaches to project management. Now, the question is so generic question. It's not asking any specific project problem. They're asking a very generic statement. They're asking what is the critical problem in change control in a traditional management model. So keep in mind, in traditional management, what happens when the change comes, it goes in a systematic process-oriented approach. In this, what is the problem? That's the question. Can someone tell me what can be eliminated first before you go for the right answer?
B.
BC.
BC.
C.
Why it can be eliminated? Any background for that? Why it can be eliminated?
It doesn't seem
Does not help the
Relevant goal plating.
Doesn't help, right? It doesn't help on the goal plating. I know a big question is here. What is goal plating? What is scope creep? It'll go to a different topic area. And goal plating is adding something unwanted from your team members. Scope creep could be from the client. They keep giving new features, which is deviating from somewhere. But the question is not that, right? The question is asking something, what's the problem? They didn't ask about what it is. So I can pull it out, B and C out. Now competition is between A and D. Now you have to filter it. Again, read the question. After you eliminate an answer, don't stop there. Now go back and read the question again. Which of the following is a critical problem? Something is happening wrong in the traditional model of change management. What is wrong there? These focus on reviewing change and associated impact in details before approving and rejecting them. Do people went with the A? Why you thought A is an answer? I'll come with the D later. Why D, A is an answer? Why you thought so? Do you think it's a critical problem? By analyzing why this change should be done, what are the impact on this change? You think it's a critical problem?
I think it is D. Yeah, this just defines what the process is. It does not
tells the problem, right? It tells what's the process, what they do. It's explaining what they do. Question is not what they do. Question is what is the problem? These constraint, the way what you're doing is a constraint. Even highly valuable changes, very worthwhile changes, has to wait, has to go through this change procedure, sometimes got rejected also, because change can't be accepted at this point of time because we have developed so far. So stop that, we won't accept it. You say, man, it's valuable. If you don't do this, the product doesn't make sense at all. That's okay. Contract is signed and change should go through the procedure. And we see it's the toughest thing to do right now. So no. So now they say that these constraint means a blocker. A constraint that the product changes, even a highly valuable thing. And they say that this is the biggest problem in a traditional approach. But this approach is highly used in industries where you can't change drastically. If I take this for agile, information technology, education industry, hotel industry, where if it is valuable change, I cannot tell that you have to follow the procedure and wait in the line. No, we will forward it so that we do as early as possible if we understood that's important. How do I justify that? The main problem with the change control on traditional project is that change control policies constrains product changes, even highly valuable changes. How it is? As a hidden focus is to stick to the original plan. Whatever plan you made in the month of January, you will say that's a plan we have to go. On the other hand, change control helps in controlling scope creep and goal plating. It filters it. Now coming back here, this question was a little tricky question. Why it was a tricky question? I'm not going to be arguing on the subject, but I'm going to ask you why this question was tricky for some of you. What is the problem there? Is it a language tough? Or is it
understanding the keywords?
Keywords, right? That's a tricky part. So in this question, if you're sitting in an exam hall, you have 1 minute, almost 26 seconds or 20 seconds. Already you are in the pressure in the exam hall. This is the exam question number 135. You all took a break at 60th question, 120 question, another break you took, you came back, you're reading this question, you will start counting the time running. Okay, already you feel that my time is running, time is running, time is running. When you put a pressure like this, what will happen is, when you read a question, your brain says, not getting anything, maybe gold plating. Then you go to the next question. Many people do the mistake of adding the pressure while reading the question. But how to do this? How to do this? First thing, concept understanding. While reading, there is a word called critical problem, and associated with the traditional approach, I'll be very clear, they are not talking anything on the project situation. They're talking something on the statement. When they say something on the statement, I have to go back on my thought process to see what is the advantage of traditional approach? What is the advantage of agile approach? The advantage of agile approach is welcoming change at any time. In traditional approach, the problem here is change there, but not all the time. That's a main thing. The moment my brain connects that, now I will see what can be eliminated. I will quickly eliminate these two and now read it again, read the question again. This all will take hardly 60 seconds or 1 minute, little bit seconds there. If you do a second time, your brain can connect better. And this all should be done in a composed way. Man, you will tell composed, you sit in the exam hall, you know the pain. Some cricket captains are highly appreciated. Even though the whole ground is shouting, they are composed to hit the ball correctly or look at the person what to do. And that's going to be your management skills. PMI is not testing only your question answering ability. They look for how composed you are. That is why they have at least 10 to 15 questions, super crazy questions in every exam to see how you are answering there. So it's called a psychometric exam to test your ability to be composed. In leadership, you always like a person who is cool and composed. How many times we laugh at some politicians who blabber in the press meet, which is because of losing the composure. So now if you can do that, you are super good. I appreciate all the people who read the question carefully. You did a good job. All right, now what do you do? Let me stop sharing. I'm going to ask the people to share the screen, bring their question. Who has the question now? We have at least a few minutes. I can take 1 or 2 questions. Please go ahead and share your screen.
See, I'm sharing my screen.
Please go ahead. We'll do that.
Let me know if my screen is visible.
Kaushik Das, loaded. Please go ahead.
Yeah, I was talking about this question.
Please read the question.
A common misconception is that agile teams do not estimate work as traditional teams do. This is incorrect. Which of the following statement is correct regarding estimating in agile projects? So we have these 4 options. So I selected this one. The team limits its estimate to the next few sprints at most.
Very good. Okay. Yeah. Why you thought it's a few sprints?
So I thought that in agile it is.
As per today's discussion, also we learned about the sprints. Okay.
Yeah. So it's
now the justification.
So there is no fixed duration for the estimation span. However, the team limits its estimation to the next few weeks.
Yes.
So I accept it as a knowledge. So if I come across similar situation, instead of focusing on sprint, I will focus on a week. So that is how I accepted this.
Yep. So what they do is they do a n+2 sprints or n+2, n+3. Now, when we say sprints here, it is getting a little more subjective in this answer. The team limits its estimation to the next few sprints. See, when you see the question, when you say about estimating the work, when you say estimation, you start refining the work in detail. You find the work priority and you start assigning with what can be the high, what can be the low. Now, what the teams do here is when you say sprint, it sticks us with 1, 2, 3, or 4 sprints as per the agile. Now, when you go by estimation by next few weeks, I can keep it open to tell that it can be for 2 sprints or it can be for 3 sprints, depending on my sprint size. But the estimation could be done, which we call as a grooming, which is called as a refinement, which I can see advance of a few weeks. I don't want to limit with a specific sprint. I can even go for a few weeks. It can be lesser, it can be more.
Correct.
Our recommendation is n plus some number of sprints is good for you. And the point what I at least see from here is when they say estimating, I'm going a little more granular, clear what should be the size of it. I would put for a few weeks of time so that it will help me for the couple of sprints.
Thanks, Sri. Thanks a lot.
Good.
Can I go to that question? That in the same thing, there is another is 3 to 4 weeks also there. Why we can't choose that one, Sri? That
3 to 4 weeks also there. Oh, okay. When you say 3 to 4 weeks, you are limiting yourself with a number. So they want to keep it few weeks. I was pointing out it could be 1, 2, 3, 4, anything, right? I don't want to say it should be only 3 weeks. It could be 8 weeks also. It can be 1 week also. It's up to your team to decide. That's a point.
the maximum we can do it 4 weeks.
Okay. Why should I freeze with the maximum 4 weeks? If my team is capable of doing for 6, also good, but usually they don't do that. They do for the weeks, which is they're comfortable. You can't limit, right? For example, you're getting all the details in detail clearly because you've done this kind of project earlier and you get some information on that particular module. Even though you can hold it till the end, sometimes you get more detail, then you add it. You don't want to stop yourself. But that's all what I'm saying is a little above the air, but usually team does only a couple of weeks. That's how they do. All right. Yeah, Kadir, hope you got it. Kadir Abel.
Yes, thanks.
Fantastic. Let's push any other question. One more.
Yeah, myself, Karthik here.
Go ahead, Karthik.
Yeah.
Please read the question.
Yeah. Fourth question. An agile team is midway through the current sprint. When a key stakeholder approaches the Scrum Master with a must new requirement, which of the following would be the Scrum Master best response? So add the new requirement to the current sprint backlog. B option is state the sprint is currently underway and that a new requirement cannot be added without written approval from management. C is add new requirement to the product backlog so that product owner can review it for possible inclusion in future sprint. I selected this one. Ask the stakeholder to discuss the new requirement with the product owner and let them decide whether to include it in the product backlog. That is the correct option, actually.
Are you working in agile environment by any chance?
No, I am working in a predictive environment.
Very good, very good. Then let me put this point like this. Let's read the question. An agile team is midway through the current sprint. A sprint is happening. If you're aware, a sprint is happening, you don't disturb the team when the sprint is happening. Are you clear on that point?
Yeah, correct.
A key stakeholder approaches a Scrum Master with a must new requirement. Key stakeholder, I cannot deny for the change, for the new ask. In Zoom, we have a feature of a video. A key stakeholder says that I want a 4K video. Right? 4K video is needed. That's what I ask. Which of the following would be the Scrum Master's best response? Team is working, something they're working. For the upcoming future work, 4K video is a request by the one of the key stakeholder. It's a must. I can't say no for it. Can we start the work right away? Or you feel that we need to discuss this work, prioritize this work, define the work more? What is your thought?
Yeah, we need to prioritize this work and we need to discuss actually.
Very good. Nice. Now let's go with the answer. Add the new requirement to the product backlog so that the product owner can review it for possible inclusion in the future sprint. It looks nice, right? Straight away you can add it. But who is the owner of a product backlog? Who has the ownership of maintaining the requirements in the project in Agile?
Product owner.
Product owner, right? Because product owner is the voice of the customer. You know that? You remember that? It's the voice of the customer. If a voice of the customer, I can step in his shoes and do the job, but that's not my job, right? Which means I'm not escaping from the job, but what I'm feeling is somebody responsible who knows better than me. Ask the stakeholders first to discuss the new requirement with the project owner. You want to talk with the product owner. The product owner could have a different view. They say not a 4K video, let's go for the 8K video. Who knows? Why should I interfere into the requirement details, which is not your portfolio? That's a portfolio of some other person. Let them be there. You can be there. You will be the facilitator as a Scrum Master. But obviously, product owner knows better than us. And let them decide whether to include or not. And the priority also can differ. Better than 4K, something else can be there. We don't know. But point here is, in this answer, ask the stakeholder. You are directing them whom to meet, what to do. That is your role. When the product owner discuss, that discussion also, you may be present as a manager or a Scrum Master. But the point is, right channel makes job better. If not, we may do something which can go wrong because we are working on value-based delivery. A value-based delivery doesn't mean something who asks we deliver it. It's a value addition for the corporate, value addition for the project. That's why they do this order. Makes sense for you?
Okay. Yeah.
For the same question, I have one query. Example, in the question, if we have A, B, C, the same answers, and instead of D, we have none of these, should we choose C or D?
Then it is not the same question, different question, right?
For the same question, like question number 4, A, B, C.
Why you want to do this a shuffle game now?
Just to answer, because this says best response. From exam point of view, can we assume it should go to stakeholder first, or can we assume that C is the best option here?
I could not get the intention what you're trying to get from this shuffling. By shuffling, what do you want to get? I didn't get that point.
Like in the question, it asking for the best response.
Very good.
For example, just in case we have only 3 options, A, B, and C, there is no D option at all.
Very good. Then read the 3 options. Are you, and I think Dinesh, you are an Agile, right? Sorry, Deepak, you're an Agile, right? Already. Very good. Nice. If let's say, imagine D is not there. Now, still you feel A, B, C, one of them is the right answer? That's your thought?
In that case, C is the right answer, no? I'm asking this thing.
If that's the case, I don't think you have to remove D. Straight away, you can mark C itself. So if I understand your question, you get a feel that when you say a best answer, there could be one second best answer. That's what you thought?
Yeah.
Okay, that's your question, right? I don't see that as an answer here because C says add the new requirement, which is not a good thing by anyone except the product owner. Okay. If I see A, add the new requirement, again, it asks you to add. So which means it's not a good practice. So even though D is not there, I would say A, B, C cannot be the one.
Okay.
Right? Okay, got it. All right. Any other questions?
Discussing that requirement, they can't add it in the backlog. Correct?
Repeat again, Karthik. Kadir Bill, something you said?
No, without discussing the new requirement.
It is good to have them, right? Because we didn't plan this project very well like a predictive model.
Yes.
When we don't plan well, abruptly, if we keep allowing people to add, I think we'll end up in a trouble. That is the reason we're allowing them, product owner, to do the job. If I planned very well, yes, as a Scrum Master, a product manager, you will have all the details.
Correct.
But since we didn't plan, we need some time to understand things. Okay. All right, guys. And I really appreciate everyone for contribution, participation. Was it a good session? Did you got some inputs today? Was it useful?
Yes.
Fantastic.
Yes, sir. Thanks a lot.
All right, fantastic. So next week, we'll bring up a different topic. We'll discuss about it and we'll discuss some questions. The purpose of doing this program is to bring back some of you who are preparing for the exam, because after the class gets over, it gets diluted. We sometimes get lost in our life with our official and personal. So this kind of refreshment knowledge can bring you something back. And discussing questions also set you on the rhythm. Reach out for any help. We'll be happy to support. However, set a target date for you, move towards exam. This exam is not too tough. It is all about your discipline to sit and read for some hours per day. If you can do that, it's yours. Good wishes. Do well. We'll catch up by next Sunday. See you all. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Sri. Thanks, Sri. Thanks, everyone.
Bye all. Thank you.